Hey, Jerry,
Let's
welcome to
go.
EV Marketplace on a Wednesday night. Thanks for joining us all the way from Auckland in New Zealand. And hey, this is our first time. We haven't had anyone on the show from New Zealand, so welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite.
That's
Yeah,
great to see
very,
you. And look, for anyone that doesn't know, it's Jerry Pan and Cars on YouTube. And Jerry's got about 10, 20 times more subscribers than I have. He's been covering cars for how long now, Jerry? Mm,
since 2021,
mm.
but covering series reviews probably since 2024.
Oh,
So a
that's
couple of
that's
years now.
So he's an old hand, and we've pinned him down to get some background, particularly focused on EVs as we're an EV channel in the New Zealand market. Jerry has done a heap of work. He's done more reviews. He's done more in-depth tutorials on just about every car, covering a lot of the new EVs. And we want to focus on what that market looks like in New Zealand because there's a few big differences over there. I'm a New Zealander and I've been over here 35 years in case nobody knew. And I've still got family in Auckland. Jerry lives in Auckland and we just wanted to make that connection. So I've still got a really strong interest in what's going on over there. It has been a very interesting market over there, hasn't it, Jerry? But
Absolutely,
tell me,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, first of all, do you get involved with EVs? Do you like the EVs that you're seeing coming out over in the New Zealand market?
yeah. Obviously, before I started this channel, I've never got into an EV, and
Yeah.
I still remember the first EV I've ever driven was
Mm.
the MGZS EV.
Yeah.
And that was a really cool experience. After that, I've been telling everyone around me EV how
Yeah.
good that EV is and everything. So yeah, it's I definitely got a lot of love for EVs and EVs overall. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not going to
Mm.
ask you what you drive. Jerry works in the motor industry as well, so he gets to drive a heap of cars, so he knows
Yeah,
firsthand what they're like. And there's an extraordinary number of cars available in EVs available in New Zealand, and it's a much smaller market than Australia, just by way of comparison. And look, this chart's not a brilliant one, but I guess we do about 1 million new cars here in Australia per annum, bit over 1 million, and New Zealand's been doing about 130 to 160,000 per year for the last, up and down. But what was that big hole in 2020, Jerry? You're in the industry then. What happened then? Mm.
yeah. Obviously, COVID
Oh yeah, of
was
course,
the main
of
issue. Yeah,
course.
and yeah, so lockdowns and everything
Yeah,
obviously stopped people buying cars and during that time. And
I
yeah,
I hadn't
so
thought of
there's a big drop.
I hadn't thought about that. Is a massive drop from a strong market way back then. And you were involved in the industry then as well. Mm,
Yeah. I was there.
mm.
Yeah, it was a struggle for a lot of people, and not just buying
Yeah,
cars. It's simply come down to basic of livings. Buying groceries and
yeah.
affording things and redundancy, everything. Yeah,
No,
many of us have probably have gone through that. Yeah.
that's tough to yeah, that's a tough time. It looks like it
Mm.
bounced back well to that period there again, back to over 160,000 cars, and it's just been tailing off more recently, of course. But the
Yeah.
EV market over there has also been a tough one as well, even compared to Australia. We've just cracked 20% for various reasons. Pure BEVs here in Australia, as you probably know. What's
Yeah.
been happening in the new car EV market in New Zealand?
Yeah. So obviously, at 2022, the government, specifically Labour government at the time, introduced something called the EV or Clean Car Rebate for
Yeah.
the name, and they were applying up to at one time more than $8,000 discounts or
Okay.
rebate
Yeah.
to brand new EVs.
Yeah.
So you buy a brand new EV for, let's say, 60 grand, you get $8,000 back from the
Wow.
government, or yeah, more than 8,000. And then if you buy a plug-in hybrid, you get 5,700 or something back from the government. If you buy a brand new, it
Yeah.
has to be brand new. So yeah, at the time of that period was a big incentive for
Yeah.
electric vehicles. To be fair, if you look it back right now, the EV at the time wasn't as cheap as what it is right now, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was a point. It was a starting point for the generation, for the whole
Yeah.
market to start shifting to look at EV options.
Yeah.
So there was a huge spike at 20, even from end of 2021 all the way through to end of 2023.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually, they dropped the rebate from EV from 8,000 something to 7,000 something, but
Yeah.
still it was huge.
That's really generous.
On
Yeah, that was good. It was
yeah,
good for EV buyers at the time, and there weren't many cars around. We only had the Model Y and the Polestar 2, the Atto 3 back in 22.
yep,
Yeah, maybe
yep,
the Ioniq 5 at that stage. Do you remember what you had way
yep.
back then, like 3 or
Way
4
back
years ago?
then, yeah, way back then it was predominantly BYD, MG, Teslas. I think
Yeah,
those three big ones. Yeah,
yeah, MG4.
MG4, MG ZS,
Yeah,
and BYD Atto 3, BYD
that's right.
Dolphin, and then there's a sales sedan. Then
Yeah,
Tesla will be Model 3, Model Ys, and
yeah,
then you got all the other players like GWM, Aura, and some small other cars. Yeah, but yeah, those are the main big
yeah.
selling ones at the time. And yeah, I
And
still remember
that
heaps of
was going really well. The market share was improving, sales were improving, and the market
yeah,
share
exactly.
pure BEVs got to over 20%, which is where Australia is now, just at the end of 2023. I
Yeah,
think there was something happening about then, yeah, that people just rushed in and bought them, yeah. Mm.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think the end of quarter 4 2023 was the time they've announced that it's gonna end on 31st of December. So that's why everyone rushed in, says I'm gonna get a rebate
Yeah,
because after that the price will jump or price will change, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why you see the quarter 1 2024 there was barely any registration from that.
Yeah, so
Yep.
end of 2023, was that a bit of a rush because that people knew that the benefits or the bonuses were going to be removed?
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, end of 2023 was the time when they announced, rebate will finish
Okay.
from 31st of December. So yeah, when the government get that announcement out, then everyone was just rushed into dealership to get a car
Yeah.
before then. I know they've announced a couple months before, but people were only just gonna buy a car in December, so that's why yeah, the December rush was just always there. Not only that, I think at the time many dealerships would be registering cars just so they can get a
Yeah.
rebate
Yeah.
for you know from government,
Yeah.
so
That's
they
right. They
can
want
keep
to,
selling all these cars on the dock. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Anything like that, you put a date on anything and it causes a mad rush and they're going to get those cars registered and claim that rebate as soon as possible. And yeah,
Exactly.
look, it's
Yeah.
fair to say that the market sort of, well, pretty much crashed after that in New Zealand, didn't it, really, for EVs?
Yeah, so and obviously after that, there was so many demo EVs or so-called demo EVs on the
Yeah.
market,
Yeah.
and then also the incentive is gone. So everyone look at the price, and obviously the manufacturer didn't want to discount their prices, and
Yeah.
so people look at the price of that. Just there's no interest on new EVs suddenly,
Mm.
so that's why that drop was just huge from that
Yeah.
time. And then I can't remember exactly which month they also introduced the what we call RUC, road user charge. So typically you get RUC on diesel cars, so you pay per 1,000 kilometers about $76,000.
Is
Sorry,
that right?
$76.
Wow.
Sorry, $76 per 1,000 Ks.
Wow.
And then after some time, they introduced the RUC for the EVs and for the PHEVs,
Yeah.
plug-in hybrids, and then that also again hurt the market quite a bit
Yeah.
because
Okay.
not only you're not buying the car super cheap, but
Yeah.
also in your ownership you have to pay
Yeah.
more than what the other guys were paying at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's huge.
Mm.
Yeah. Because with the currency, normally, around about 10% difference. Most of those EVs, like for like, are around about 10%, not exorbitantly higher, but around about 10% higher in New Zealand dollars. Yeah. So a reasonable lick, for around 70 or 80,000 still for a new Tesla or something like that, right? Model Y.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
up there, and you had to be keen. But yeah, without government support and government incentives, and we've had state government incentives here in Australia and haven't had a federal government incentive like that, and they've all gone away. But we've got the fringe benefit tax exemption here, which has really kept the market underpinned at around about 7 to 9%, of course, up until recently. And you guys stayed at around about 5-ish%, yeah, 5 or
Yeah.
six
Yeah.
percent, yeah, kicking
Yeah.
along from
Around that.
24,
Yeah.
25, yeah,
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. It's always been around 5% also after that.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot more.
Until recently. Yeah.
And a lot more. We're going to come to it, but a lot more car selection in many cases. How many new EVs do you reckon, pure EVs, are available in New Zealand now? Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to count. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's too many to sell or to choose from, I think, at the
Yeah.
moment. If you want a EV medium-sized SUV,
Yeah.
you got probably 10 competitors that you can check out
Yeah.
within the price range between 50 to 80K, and
Mm.
it's simple as
We'll
that.
come. We'll come back and have a look at the top 10 in a minute. But yeah,
Mhm.
because of course recently, like Australia, something crazy happened which affected the New Zealand market as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can see the spike
Mm.
recently. Yeah, yeah,
This is the chart of BEV weekly registrations in New Zealand. The new ones in the teal color, the used ones in the orange. And so, yeah, did you see it? Did you feel it? This is up until April 2026. More recently, they just went
yeah.
crazy here. The new market went crazy here. The used market went crazy here. What happened over there?
Yeah, so same thing in New Zealand, just because of the fuel prices from the
Yeah,
war, Iran, the States,
yeah.
everyone. Yeah, the fuel prices went sky high. At one point, it was diesel for $4 per liter. That
we
was
got
just
to
crazy.
we got to 325, 350. So yeah, like
Yeah,
it's insane, right? But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was insane. So everyone kind of at the time rushed into trying to look at EV options or
yeah,
plug-in hybrid options, more economic options
mm,
that as long as it doesn't run on fuel.
yeah,
And obviously you get all the conspiracy about we're
yeah,
gonna work from home, we're gonna stop petrol diesel
yeah,
cars to be on the road every maybe one day away, because things like that. People, there's either panic or there's either
yeah.
suddenly you push a lot more people to change their decisions and make their minds. And so yeah,
It's
you see the spike. Yeah,
unbelievable. That's yeah. So that's the blue, the teal numbers, the new car spike back up. Almost that's like a doubling, almost doubling of market share of registrations again, and probably petrol sales dropped. Petrol cars dropped a bit, so market share probably increased. Used again looks like it's gone up to 200 or 300% off a small base,
yeah,
but by the same token, yeah, quite remarkable in terms of the increase there. Did you have a lot of
yeah,
media and press messaging? Because here we found that a lot of the noise was made out of the media. Suddenly they had been anti EVs for 2 or 3 years and every excuse not to buy one, every reason. But then suddenly they were on board and they were doing pieces on how popular they were and what a great solution they are. Did you find that on the
mm.
media over there as well?
Yeah, I think you see a lot more news about coverage
Yeah,
about, let's say, I think BYD there was a media information from BYD New
yeah,
Zealand about they sold about, I can't remember, 80 or 60 cars in one day, which
yeah,
is 5 or 16 times more than
yeah,
what they would normally sell.
yeah,
So yeah, those were some crazy days at the time. So you see a lot of over the news everywhere.
yeah,
One side is people panicking about fuel prices. One side is about people are selling EVs, or
yeah.
it's just two things altogether. Yeah.
No, it was amazing. Yeah, because I'd never had so many people come up to me and say, "Oh, look, you must be happy you own an EV. Like, you must be really like." For years go by, and you just get strange questions and interesting questions from
Mhm.
strangers. But yeah, suddenly you have people going, "Well, you must be really happy you've got an EV."
Yeah, yeah,
That was
you've
the
got the
first
right
time.
choice. Yeah, yeah.
That was the first time I'd experienced that for a long time.
Mm.
Yeah, it's kicked on here in Australia. I haven't got the latest numbers for New Zealand, but I think it seems to be holding about double, maybe 10% by the looks of things. And yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. If anything, at least it's been a talking point to get people back interested in EVs rather than in negative news. I think we don't want to see petrol prices high, but by the same token, it's really kicked off interest in EVs, and we're just under 20% here in Australia, and I think you guys
Mm.
are 10 or 12% over there, which is it is good to see. Again, kicks off awareness, keeps everyone happy. So, are you seeing it at the dealership floor level as well? Still,
Yeah, yeah. You see a lot more people coming to
mm,
dealerships, not just yeah, everywhere on this in this industry.
yeah,
Asking, oh, what EVs have you got? Have you got this? Have you got that?
yeah,
Either used or either new and things like that. So there's a lot of interest.
yeah.
You can definitely feel it. Yeah.
It's no, and just Jerry still works in the motor industry as well as me. No one makes any money out of
Yeah.
YouTube, so still Jerry's in the motor industry. I'm driving an Uber. We're talking to a lot of people all the time about
Mm.
buying tastes, and speaking of buying tastes, I found the market very different in terms of models. And there's a couple of brands, well, very different, very similar in some ways in terms of Tesla, MG, BYD. But there's a couple in there which I noticed last time. I think there was some Vauxhalls and Peugeots even 3 or 4 years ago, maybe not in the top 10 or 15 or 20 now. But one of
Yeah.
the ones that really stood out for me was Dong Feng. And is that how you say
Yeah, Dong Feng, or in Chinese it's Dong Feng, but yeah,
it?
for all the all the Kiwi audience or Australian audience, Dong Feng is the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
That's no problem. Yeah, yeah.
Have you had actually, by the way, have you had a chance to go to China and have a look at any of the car industry over there?
Yeah, just general browsing for car dealerships and everything.
Yeah.
Not for factories and things like that. I haven't had
No.
the pleasure to do that, but yeah, you see
And
them on the road, you see them in shopping malls
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Have
Mm.
you been to any of the big shows, Shanghai or Beijing yet?
No, not myself, not
Okay.
yet.
All
Yeah,
right.
no,
We
I'd
put me
love to.
neither.
Yeah,
Put that on the list as well, right? That's good.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, and are they set up? I mean, Xpeng's another one that we'll talk about that briefly because there was a very different setup in New Zealand. But Dong Feng, is that part of the factory setup there? Is that how they set up in New Zealand?
They are more like a still distributor, so more like
Okay.
different ways. So the factory obviously got a local distributor look
Okay.
for dealerships, and dealerships sell them and things. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're still distributor type for Dongfeng. Yeah,
Interesting
that's
because
true.
we haven't got that one here. We've got quite a few others.
Mm.
Dongfeng is not not here yet. But I think they're coming to Australia later this year.
Yeah, at least that's their plan. If they already, it's more like for all these Chinese brands, their ultimate goal will be on both markets. If
Yeah,
they're here in New Zealand and haven't been
yeah,
to Australia, they will go there. And if they're here in Australia and
yeah,
not here in New Zealand, they will eventually go here. So it's like both market shares basically same car. So why
yeah.
not if you're already in
I
one
know, and that
market?
makes sense. And that's right.
Mm,
We'll get straight to Xpeng now because yeah, the G6. Um, we didn't have the new one yet here, and yeah, there's been some turmoil here with the way the distribution agency was working here. But
mm,
Xpeng ANZ has just taken over the distribution here, apparently. And so that's, I think, what some of the team coming over from New Zealand to help set it up here as part of the regional brief. Well, you've got the Xpeng G6 already, the new one in New Zealand, and we don't have the new
mm.
one yet. Have you driven this one? Do you like this one?
Yeah, I've driven it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like it. It's like it's a very unique car for its price bracket. I
Yeah.
think if this is obviously to compare to Tesla Model Y,
Yeah.
BYD
Yeah.
Series 7, and all sorts of medium to large size five-seater
Yeah.
EV. This one just has a way better starting price compared
Yeah.
to all the other ones
What's
on
that?
the
That's New
same
Zealand
price
dollars
range.
60. Is that 63,990? Is
Yeah,
that drive
yeah.
away in New
Uh,
Zealand?
for New Zealand, you always do plus ORC, on-road
Yeah. Okay.
cost.
On road
That
costs.
can
Yeah.
be a couple grand, I would
Yeah.
say.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's good though.
yeah,
Yeah.
good
That's a good
price. Yeah.
price for that car, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this one 63,990. That's the rear-wheel drive, long range. You
Yeah.
get more than 500 kilometers range. You get 800 voltage, 800 volt
That's good.
architecture for the charging, so it's super fast charging. It's got
Did you know?
everything. It's got heating, cooling, massage, everything.
For anyone that's bought the G6 or looking at them and still
Mm.
considering them, what were some of the differences? Can you remember between the old G6 and the new G6?
Oh, we haven't had the old G6 in New
Oh, you
Zealand.
did.
We only had this is the first G6 we had, but based on some online research, the small thing they changed was just basically front. You get different logos, location.
Yeah,
One's on the lower side,
yeah,
one's on the bonnet, I think.
yeah. They changed the logo.
Interior side,
They changed the logo
yeah,
position.
yeah.
Was the old one 400 volts and the new one 800, or were they both
That's
800?
right. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
major
yeah,
difference. Old one was 800 volt.
yeah,
New one was 800 volt. Old one was
yeah.
400. So
I was trying to
you get
remember.
way better charging
Yeah,
capability and actually really good efficiency.
yeah,
When I tested, I didn't test much, but I've read some owners' review testing them just as a general
yeah,
ownership. Someone gets about 15 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers efficiency out of the all-wheel drive, the
yeah.
performance one. so it's pretty good.
But then we
Mm.
let's get finally to that, yeah, that Dong Feng, and that one, that is a cute little car, the box, right? So that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like a micro
Mm.
car or like a mini car.
Yeah, it looks like a mini car, but it's not that small. It's
No.
actually just a bit bigger than the Suzuki Swift, which
Yeah,
is
okay.
actually not bad size.
Yeah.
Yeah, they choose to put an interesting name, Dong Feng Box, on it. Yeah,
It's
because funny
slightly
thing,
it is slightly contentious name. But
yeah, yeah. So the funny thing in China, they actually call that Nami. So Dongfeng Nami 01. So
yeah, that's a
actually
cute Nami's a
means, yeah,
cute name, right?
yeah,
Mm.
Nami is a cute name, and I don't know why they named the box. But anyway, the car overall is quite well equipped for what it is, for
Yeah.
the pricing. In New Zealand, you can get one for
Mm.
29,990 plus ORC. So the cheapest electric vehicle to sell, brand
Yeah.
new. Along with that, you get 350 kilometers WLTP range,
That's
which
good. Yeah,
is
that's great.
enough.
That
And then,
is that the cheapest new EV in New Zealand now?
yep, so same price as the base model BYD Atto 1. So
Okay.
both of them are 29,990.
Yeah.
Um, but the box is more spacious,
Yeah.
has a few more features than the base model BYD Atto
Mm.
1, has a longer range than BYD Atto 1 base model. So
Yeah.
technically, the box is cheaper. Um, Yeah, and then yeah, it's got leather seats inside. It's got
That's good.
cameras. It's got touch screens.
Yeah, look,
Um,
that's cool. And because we got the Aeon UT here, which is we've just had that one released as well, a very small one here as well. So I'm not sure if that's
mm,
scheduled. You've got the V, but we've got the UTs that is the cute little small one here as well. Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and is
mm,
Geely on the horizon for New Zealand? Do you think? Because they've just made huge inroads here, doing really well in with
yeah.
the
I
cars in their
think
own name.
yeah, they are also doing well in New Zealand for selling and everything. But they obviously started in New Zealand just a bit later than
Okay.
Australia, so they're still catching up with this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
EX5's doing really well. Up,
yeah,
it just yeah, really well priced, and there's I'm going to do a special another couple of weeks on end of financial year pricing. We've got our financial year ending in 30 June, and you get some fantastic deals. They just all pile in with free giveaways, discounts, rebates, free charges. There's a lot of competition to get some end of financial year deals out there. So, yeah,
mhm.
there's really good deals on some of those. This one I was curious about, this the other, is it Vigo, the Dong Feng
Vigo,
Vigo?
yep,
Mm.
yep, that's right. Yeah.
Maybe
Vigo is more
looks,
like a small SUV,
yeah, maybe looks a
something
bit like
similar to,
a Kia EV3.
yeah, yeah. The front design, specifically the lights, even the
Yeah.
rear tail lights, even the side, it looks like a Kia EV3. But funny thing about this car is Dongfeng actually is the manufacturer for Kia
Okay.
vehicles in some of the Chinese market. So technically they are connected in some way.
Okay.
That's why I guess it's okay for that design. But yeah, overall it's not a cute car to look at it.
That's
Um,
right. You reminded me. So the Kia EV5 is built in China. The EV3 is built in
yeah,
Korea, but Kia have outsourced for everyone, yeah, just a reminder, Kia have outsourced the building of the EV5 to China, right? So, and
yep,
it's
yep,
Dongfeng's factory, yeah?
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So Kia Dongfeng does produce some local Kia vehicles in China. So I guess
Yeah.
they have a little bit more connection than we think. But
And
yeah, this
this is about EV3 size. It looks at subcompact, yeah?
yeah, that's right. Yeah, EV3 size or
Mm.
BYD Atto 2
It's cute.
size.
Yeah, no,
So similar.
it's
Yeah.
cute. The nose is a bit less aggressively square than the Kia. I think it's a cute little car. That's good. And you driven this one or
Yeah,
not?
yeah. Yeah, I've driven this one. I've reviewed this one. It's got some quirky designs. It's got
Yeah.
an external speaker, so you can when you park the vehicle, you can play music to blast outside. Obviously, there is a limit on the volume,
That's fun. That's
or you
fun for a
can make
family.
funny noise, dog
Mm.
barks outside. Exterior speaker. It's got twin split tailgate. which is
Okay, that's not that's
very
cool. You
funny.
can sit down, so come
Yeah.
down, split tailgate, yeah.
手动的后备箱可以选配电动后备箱，电动后备箱呢，或者手动后备箱都有一个非常酷的天地门造型，这个是非常少见的。这个天地门呢，也可以支撑1-2个成年人坐在上面。另外这块也有2个杯架。
I'm not going to ask you whether you've driven a car again. I'm just going to assume that you have, and then you tell me if you haven't. Okay, so
Yeah, no problem.
I'm not going to
Sure.
I'm not going to ask you if you've driven a car. I'm going to assume that you have. How much is this one in New Zealand?
I think starting price is 37,990
that's all right.
plus ORC. Yeah,
That's all right.
not bad price. Yeah, just one single spec. It's got everything you see.
Yeah.
So pretty easy,
And
straightforward. Yeah.
and have you got the Cherry in New Zealand yet?
Yeah, Cherry. Yeah, we do have Cherry, Omoda, J Cool, everything. Yeah.
Because the J5 is doing really well. Maybe number
Yeah.
3 outright, beating the Geely EX5 now. But it looks cool. It looks like a little mini Range Rover, right? And
Range
so it's
Rover,
just
yeah,
it's just really stylish, and it's just practical and in good pricing here. Mid 30s, 36, 37 deals at 36, 37 Aussie. So yeah. Have you got the J5 there?
Yeah. I'm literally driving this week, which is good timing.
Okay. All right.
So,
keep an eye
yeah,
out we'll put a link down below for Jerry's YouTube channel. He's going to be driving the J5. Check it out and subscribe to his channel as well, because he's got reviews and details on just about everything that I've talked about tonight. So
yeah. I try to get everything as much as I can. So
I know.
Actually, the EVs are the new car to get hold of. So yeah.
And one more Dong Feng, which I've never seen either. I haven't seen either. I've seen the box, but I hadn't seen the Vigo. And this one, this is the 007, right?
007. Yeah, it's a 007. Yeah. Again, the name doesn't. I mean, for Kiwi market, everyone thinks, oh, it's stealing the name from James Bond. But in the Chinese market, they are classified as a sub brand from Dong Feng called Yipai.
Okay.
They have I think 66, 007, 88, and things like that. So this one happens to be 007.
Yeah. Okay.
And they happen to not change this one's name. So yeah, that's where the name come from. But yeah, actually very cool car for what it offers as a fastback. It just looks gorgeous.
Yeah. I thought very stylish car, very nice.
Yeah, the design elements on this is cool.
Is this bigger than Model 3? Slightly bigger than Model 3?
Actually, it's a little bit longer than Model 3, but inside it's similar to Model 3, I think.
Yeah. That's really, look, we won't keep you too long, Jerry, but I really wanted to just have a quick look at so a very interesting dynamic on the used market in New Zealand, because it hadn't occurred to me. A lot of the New Zealand market is driven by Japanese imports, and they have been for many, many years. And there's different regulations over there about importing, and there's a few Japanese imports here. You can get around it, but there's more tariffs on Japanese imports here. So it's not been that prevalent on the new car market, but it's a big deal on the New Zealand car market, and they're significantly cheaper, right? Do you see a lot of Japanese cars on the road still? Japanese imports?
Yeah. Not just for EVs or hybrids, it's for everything in general. Just over the years, the New Zealand used car market rely on Japanese import, just being cheaper and reliable.
Yeah.
And then EVs will be the same. You see, before the year 2020, before all this new EV came to New Zealand market, on the road, the predominant EV you will see is Nissan Leaf.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Because the interesting dynamic is that because New Zealand relies on those cheaper Japanese cars to fill a spot in a cheaper used car market, right? So they're cars that weren't new in Japan; they were used. They got different registration rules over there. After I think 3 years or something, it can get quite expensive to re-register. So it makes some sense to export them. Japanese is right-hand drive, New Zealand's right-hand drive. They don't have the same sort of tariffs on import duties in New Zealand. So they played a big part in the New Zealand market for quite some time. That filtered through to the market with some much cheaper cars. Instead of just relying on the new cars to filter through, the Japanese imports have tended to be a lot cheaper. something I hadn't realised about the used EV market in New Zealand. We're relying on the used EV market here building up around the legacy new EV market. And there's probably about 500, 450, 500,000 EVs on the market here, on the road here. And so they're filtering through to, a few thousand every month now on the used market. But it's going to cause a bit of a backlog, or it's going to stall the growth of the used market over there. I understand. We looked at this article from Car Expert who highlighted this, and it's really a bit of a problem from a survey that they've done, that they're trying to find secondhand EVs that are affordable is going to take a while. And I guess the solution in the meantime is to find some more affordable new EVs, right? But the secondhand
Yep.
market for EVs might take a while to take off because the new Japanese just haven't filled that gap with new EVs. They haven't got that flow coming through like they used to. So have you seen much of that action?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you look at the Japanese used EV market, you put on the first thing you can think about is still the Nissan
Yeah.
Leaf.
Yeah.
They are quite old-fashioned for what the import market is.
Yeah.
Now the price drops to 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand. That's pretty much as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Those
Let's
cars
let,
are older
let's start with that.
technology.
Are
Yeah.
they again?
Mm.
Are the guys still importing a lot of Leafs from all ages?
Definitely not as much as it used to
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Obviously, when you see the Nissan Leaf sells for more than $20,000, you'll be asking yourself question: Why don't I just spend a bit more, get a Dong Feng Box, or
Yeah.
get a
Exactly.
BYD other
Yeah.
one,
Okay.
or even a used MG4 that has
Yeah.
local warranty, local servicing, everything. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
so
good. Okay.
not as much as it used to do.
Yeah.
But then many companies suddenly shift to start importing Tesla Model 3s and Model Ys from Japan,
Yeah. Okay. Is that
which
right?
is
Okay.
also,
That's
yeah, yeah.
interesting.
You see a
Ah.
lot of them on New Zealand Trade Me. If you
Okay.
search Trade Me specifically, that's
Mm,
the market.
yeah.
Um, yeah, there will be a lot.
Trade
Mm.
Me's the main place to sell cars. I think we've got car sales here, and Trade Me's like the eBay, isn't it? It's got but that's big for car sales as well, isn't it? Mm,
Yeah, Trade Me is one. Auto Trader is another one. But yeah,
yeah.
you see a lot of used import
Yeah.
Tesla Model 3s and Tesla Model Ys, and
Okay.
sometimes they would just only be cheaper, $2,000 or $3,000 cheaper than using a
Yeah.
new
Okay.
one, and
So
people still buy them.
yeah.
Which, yeah, and I tend to tell people to buy new ones and choose
Yeah.
new ones,
Yeah.
as you get local warranty, local plug. That's another
Yeah.
thing, because
This is
if it's a
always
Japanese
the
import,
issue.
yeah,
Always the issue with the Japanese imports. There's no local warranty for the grey imports,
mm,
is there? But yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's the trade-off. People buying a cheaper car but not getting the local support. And we
yeah,
understand people have different price brackets, but often the used market is driven by price, and yeah, it has to be in a specific bracket.
mm,
Yeah, look, I hope they can find a source of cheaper used EVs as quickly. But I think, yeah, like a lot of the market here is going to be kept honest by much cheaper and cheaper new cars coming in, and I, the used market will hold up nicely as it has at the moment, but it's going to balance again to somewhere finally between the new ones that are getting more value and better cars at cheaper prices with the cars that are out there on the used market. It's going to be a bit of a race, isn't it, to see who wins?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but especially with more and more brands coming in,
Yeah.
I think, yeah, that will come to the used car market as well. Mm.
Look, Jerry, that's great. I know Jerry's been coming to me late in his in his time zone.
Uh-huh.
It's late here. Thanks very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And hey, hopefully I have you back in again in a few months' time and get another update from the New Zealand market, because incredible what's happened over there. Same thing, similar things to New Zealand, but very different forces involved. And hope the new market does well and you keep selling a lot of new cars. And I hope EV's doing really well over there as well. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.